Let's take a look at those. And maybe pull a control up so we can
Whether
compare.
he's in the lab leading a team of scientists manipulating and splicing genes, or in the hospital comforting and caring for disabled children, Dr. Brendan Lee is always moving toward the treatment and cure of rare diseases. A native of Hong Kong, Brendan moved with his family to New York when he was 6 years old. His parents were already pushing him toward a career in medicine.
I fell in love with it. Both the medicines part, which is really to deliver care and to try to impact positively patients' lives, as well as the science part, which is to try to understand what's going on in our patients.
Brendan's curiosity led him to genetics in the late 80s, as scientists were just starting to understand how DNA works. Brendan came to the Baylor College of Medicine for postdoctoral training.
Another important signaling protein called Notch is affected. And here you see almost all of the bones, all the cartilage in the skeleton is gone.
Now he leads a team of researchers in Baylor's Department of Molecular and Human Genetics. Initially, Brendan focused on diseases of the bones and connective tissues.
We identified many of the first genes that cause human skeletal dysplasias. Chondrodysplasias typically are thought to be dwarfing conditions. Marfan syndrome associated with problems with your blood vessel, associated with problems in growth also.
In 2006, Brendan and his team pinpointed the gene responsible for a unique form of brittle bone disease. This mutated gene causes bone cells to produce abnormal collagen, which reduces bone strength. Armed with this information, Brendan's team has found ways to fight the disease and help his young patients.
You'd see them in the hospital on a pillow, on a little wagon, where if you handle them at all, there's risk of breaking bones and so on. And I think the quality of life for these children has been dramatically impacted by the clinical trials he's done with these drugs.
We've been relatively good in the case of brittle bone disease, where we're making new diagnoses, new genetic causes for this group of conditions. And then now we are even treating them with therapies which can make the difference between walking and not walking in children.
Brendan's team is also focusing on a metabolic disorder in which eating protein-rich foods causes a chemical imbalance in the body.
And these red blood cells are very abnormal, and this is what happens often when there's an absence of nitric oxide in the body. The only reason we looked at this is because of our patients.
Brendan strives to keep his research patient-oriented. He founded the Skeletal Dysplasia Clinic at Texas Children's Hospital 9 years ago, where his clinical trials are helping patients who have run out of other options.
I think he's excited about what he's doing in terms of science, and he gets other people excited with him.
Seeing patients and taking care of patients, I think, is so inspiring. It's also a great source of ideas, because trying to figure out why someone is sick forces you to really think perhaps out of the box.